What's up? First, I was here first. Don't worry about it. So, I guess I'll wait till more people get here so I don't have to repeat myself. I have an informal interview coming up soon with the VA. And that means something. What's up, you idiot? I saw a video recommended to me from, what's her name, Melanie Hines today, about Iraq's already done their reevaluation, now the rest of the world's just got to catch up. Stupid. Sharon. I imagine your last name is probably Chupacabra. Sharon Chupacabra. Capybara, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, so I've had two, there's different review types. We'll talk about it in a second when I start the show. I've had 2 supplemental reviews. And every time that's been good, so. This is my first higher level review. So we'll see how that works out. Ooh, mic does sound weird. What's going on? Almost like it's doubled up. I haven't even rebooted since the last show, so
what you think about?
You wouldn't think there was anything wrong with it, but clearly there is. Mic check. Alright, so I restarted the Roadcaster. Does that help? Still sounds weird, kinda.
Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house.
Is that any better? Still sounds weird. Still having a boxer or something. I don't know. I don't even really have any filters on either. Mic check. Mic check. Ooh, that was loud. Mic check. Is one of these plugins weird? Hold on. It might be a slow start, guys. I don't like that. I don't know why I sound like a weird robot. I don't know. Let's play the intro and see what happens. I hear something. I hear something weird. I can hear something in the background. It's very strange. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. What happened? Mic check. What is this? Sorry, I'm messing with things now. There's also feedback coming to the desktop for some reason. Mic check. What is that? I wonder. I don't know. Roll the intro.
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Well, welcome everybody. I'm Will Bird. This is the Cold Beer Confessional. You got here just in time to hear my microphone messed up. I don't know what's going on. I haven't changed anything since the last. Was it this bad the last stream? I wonder if I changed. No, I wouldn't think so. Sorry, we're looking through options now. It is the Mic Aux channel. Monitor off, channel 1. 0 delay, sync offset. 0. It's weird. It's almost like it's slightly doubled up. And I fixed it some just by rebooting, but that didn't fix it completely. Oh, I wonder if it's back here. Hold on. How's that sound? Still messed up? Yeah, even worse maybe. Weird. Mic check. It's weird it got slightly worse. I don't. Sorry, I'm moving stuff. I feel like I feel some. They get some interference in the cable. Hold on. Some of that static went down, but that shouldn't be my doubling up issue. I don't care. I don't even care. Whatever. I'll fix it before the next stream. But that's all I got for you. I don't care. If you can't stand it, you can't stand it. I don't know. I don't want to reboot. It's not a big problem on Twitch, but on Rumble and YouTube, it'll make a new, on Facebook, it'll make a new fucking video. So it is what it is for now. And I'll figure it out later on a different stream. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm Will Barr. This is Coldbeer Confessional. Support the stream if you want to at coldbeer.fund, where you can hear me sound like a robot, apparently. And we'll go from there. I found this clip of Obama, and it says, best position on immigration, humanity, and common sense is Obama 2014. This isn't even just Obama. I've heard both Bushes say this. I've heard fucking Reagan say, I've heard all of them say this before Trump, right? It was criminals, yes. Children, no. Right? Felons, yes. Families, no. Right? We don't need to go out and get our numbers so high that we're just grabbing people at kindergarten graduations, or people are technically here illegally through asylum seekers or sanctions. Well, they're here legally, right? And then we're taking away their ability to be here legally just so we can arrest them immediately. That's what Trump's doing with the asylum seekers, right? He's revoking their statuses. Then when their caseworker calls them and says, hey, you got to come in. We had an issue with your status. They come in, they arrest them. And it's all a numbers game. When he literally campaigned on, got to get the criminals. They're sending their asylums and their prisoners and their murderers and their drug dealers. That's not who we're arresting.
Criminals.
So we can start this over.
Not children.
Simplex feet.
Felons, not families. Criminals, not children. Gang members, not a mom who's working hard to provide for her kids. We'll prioritize. But even as we focus on deporting criminals, the fact is millions of immigrants in every state, of every race and nationality, still live here illegally. And let's be honest, tracking down, rounding up, and deporting millions of people isn't realistic. Anyone who suggests otherwise isn't being straight with you.
Or cost effective or good for our economy.
It's also not who we are as Americans. After all, most of these immigrants have been here a long time. They work hard, often in tough, low-paying jobs. They support their families. They worship at our churches. Many of their kids are American-born or spent most of their lives here, and their hopes, dreams, and patriotism are just like ours. As my predecessor, President Bush, once put it, they are a part of American life. Now, here's the thing. We expect people who live in this country to play by the rules. And undocumented immigrants who desperately want to embrace those responsibilities see little option but to remain in the shadows or risk their families being torn apart. It's been this way for decades. And for decades, we haven't done much about it. If you register, pass a criminal background check, and you're willing to pay your fair share of taxes, you'll be able to apply to stay in this country without fear of deportation. You can come out of the shadows and get right with the law. That's what this deal is. Now let's be clear about what it isn't. This deal does not apply to anyone who has come to this country recently. It does not apply to anyone who might come to America illegally in the future. Are we a nation that tolerates the hypocrisy of a system where workers who pick our fruit and make our beds never have a chance to get right with the law?
Sorry. Don't play my cloud lifter.
Classmates, our friends, they did not come here in search of a free ride or an easy life. They came to work and study and serve in our military, and above all, contribute to America's success. Now, tomorrow I'll travel to Las Vegas and meet with some of these.
He was, if nothing else, he was well spoken, right? It's not like a toddler's at the helm now. Like we have to listen to now. We're like, what the fuck's he saying? The weave. It just sounds like dementia.
These students, including a young woman named Astrid Silva. Astrid was brought to America when she was 4 years old. Her only possession...
You know they arrested a kid in foster care that was trafficked here against his will. Both his parents were dead. He was trafficked here against his will, somehow escaped, went into the foster system because he's a minor, was sent to a foster family in Florida, and they went and picked him up from his foster family.
...were a cross, her doll, and the frilly dress she had on. When she started school, she didn't speak any English. She caught up to other kids by reading newspapers and watching PBS. And she became a good student. Her father worked in landscaping. Her mom cleaned other people's homes. They wouldn't let Astrid apply to a technology magnet school, not because they didn't love her, but because they were afraid the paperwork would out her as an undocumented immigrant. So she applied behind their back and got in. Still, she mostly lived in the shadows. Until her grandmother, who visited every year from Mexico, passed away. And she couldn't travel to the funeral without risk of being found out and deported. It was around that time she decided to begin advocating for herself and others like her. And today, Astrid Silva is a college student working on her third degree. Are we a nation that kicks out a striving, hopeful immigrant like Astrid? Or are we a nation that finds a way to welcome her in? Scripture tells us that we shall not oppress a stranger, for we know the heart of a stranger. We were strangers once too. My fellow Americans, we are and always will be a nation of immigrants. We were strangers once too. And whether our forebears were strangers who crossed the Atlantic...
Now, this is interesting. We were strangers once too. And that's a good point, right? A lot of us came from immigrants. All of us came here somehow. At the same time, at the Claremont Institute, J.D. Vance is giving speeches about, well, if your family fought in the Revolutionary War, you know, we should listen to your opinion matters more, and you deserve to be here more than someone who moved here and complains.
Or the Pacific, or the Rio Grande, we are here only because this country welcomed them in and taught them that to be an American is about something more than what we look like, or what our last names are, or how we worship. What makes us Americans is our...
Trump can't do a good speech. J.D. Vance can do speeches, right? We're going to play his speech in a second, or a breakdown of his speech.
Commitment to an ideal that all of us are created equal, and all of us have the chance to make of our lives what we will. Felons.
I love this country. I love this country so deeply. I think that's what gives me the right to say it isn't perfect, to say that we could be better, to say that we could do better, to complain when I fucking want to. Because I love this country, because I wanted to see it do better. They're trying to convince you that the opposite is true, and you'll see this with all the maggots. They're like, you don't love it, then leave it. Where the fuck, where did you go when Biden was president? Because all you did was bitch and complain and make shit up. Did you guys all leave? No? Okay. This is from Total Hypocrisy.
There is no short way to tell you what I am about to tell you, to show you with the evidence that I have, to be an ethical content creator in a time where I think every American should see this speech from our Vice President, J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is a dangerous man with dangerous connections, and he sits in a position of power that is one heartbeat away from becoming the President of the United States. On July 5th, 2025, Vice President J.D. Vance was given a statesmanship award from an organization.
Oh, I thought it was spelled C-L-A-I-R-E, Mont, not C-L-A-R-E, Mont.
Organization called the Claremont Institute. Let me read the mission statement for you.
Oh, before we get into this, I was telling you I was waiting for everybody to get here. I've got on Tuesday, so my VA claim, I've done two separate, there's different ways to dispute a claim or dispute a rating or whatever you get. You can do a supplemental claim, which means, hey, I have new evidence, and I want you to look at this new evidence. You got 1 year to do all these. You can do a higher level review, which means an upper level reviewer, so it's been there longer, that's done this more. looks over what your reviewer already did. Like their supervisor basically checks over it. You cannot submit any evidence. But what you can do is something called an informal interview. That's what I've got on Tuesday to explain that, one, I don't think my rating is correct. Two, the doctor's appointment that I had back in February, I completely dispute everything that was said in that. I don't know what happens or what that woman wrote, but none of it was right. I don't know why that happened. And three, my back pay date is wrong. They should be back paying me at least until November of last year. And they have not back paid me any of my back pay. So we're going to see if we get a bump that way. That's higher level review. There's also, you can take it in front of basically a veterans benefits judge. And you can have a lawyer or you can do it yourself and you can go argue in front of a judge. You don't even have to be there, right? Your case can just be submitted on your behalf, but you go argue in front of a judge. I think that's when there's been like some crazy like malpractice and a cover up kind of deal. Like I don't think I need a judge, but I've done 2 supplemental appeals, and both those have raised my rating. So, what I want to do is now talk to a higher level reviewer and explain why I did those supplemental reviews, why I was raised, what the doctor told me, and what she put in her report. The good doctor, the one I just had. Not the other doctor. I want that off my record, and I'd like to take another look at it. The way that VA disability works is like you have a claim, and you put it in, and the day that you file your intent to file, that's when your back pay is supposed to start, right? I just submit a document that says, hey, I think I have this, whether I'm diagnosed with it or not, right? I think I have this. And I want you to know that I plan on filing. That's when your back pay is supposed to start that day. Now, if something's decided or nothing happens in your claim, it's like it's not their turn to do something. Like they're not deciding, they're waiting on evidence or they're waiting on you to submit something and you don't do anything for a year, or you get a decision and you don't do anything for a year, and then that date goes away and you have to start over again. So I'm trying to keep at least that part alive for now. I can't tell you how many times I've went to file. And then got frustrated and just fucking quit. So I'm trying to stay on top of it, to get 100% and to get the back pay that I'm owed.
For you, because I don't have a lot of time to talk about this institute itself. The mission of the Claremont Institute is to restore the principles of the American founding to their rightful preeminent authority in our national life. White.
Their rightful preeminent authority? Uh-oh. We definitely got some danger language here. Yeah, so the reason it's an informal interview is you like can't submit evidence, you can't do it. You just it's just to explain like this is the way that I see it. I know what you guys said. This is the way that I see it. I wonder if you would see it my way. I don't know. I've never done a higher level review on any of my claims, so I don't know how it's going to be. Hopefully it goes smooth. I don't know. They might tell me to shut the fuck up or file a new claim or file for an increase again or something, start all over. I don't know, but I'm working at it.
Straight, land-owning, property-owning men. That's who America's founding fathers were. You can watch this speech from start to finish on YouTube and obviously on the Claremont Institute website as well. I encourage you to do so, but let's talk about some of the most...
I watched the whole speech today.
...concerning parts of that speech. And for reference, because I'm not going to show you the whole thing, J.D. Vance is talking about what he envisions for America's future. And he also mentions that he thought that
he was hopeful that the crazy liberals would see their error in their ways because Trump won, and they would come back to the center. But instead, they want full-grown men beating up tiny little children, female children, in sporting events. Whatever.
That this vision is for the next several years.
If you think about it, identifying America just with agreeing with the principles, let's say, of the Declaration of Independence, that's a definition that is way over-inclusive and under-inclusive at the same time. What do I mean by that? Well, first of all, it would include hundreds of millions, maybe billions of foreign citizens who agree with the principles of the Declaration of Independence. Must we admit all of them tomorrow? If you follow that logic of America as a purely creedal nation, America purely as an idea, that is where it would lead you.
You just heard the Vice President of the United States of America denounce the Declaration of Independence. This is a PDF of that declaration. And what they're talking about this is a long list of things that King George would not allow or was failing at when they declared their independence. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states, for that purpose obstructing the laws for naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migrations hither, and raising the conditions of new appropriations of land. That Declaration of Independence, if you respect the United States, if you are a patriot, you understand how meaningful that declaration is. It declared us a nation. It is like a birth certificate. And our vice president is denouncing it, is saying that we're misinterpreting it. Unless you are an indigenous person, 100%, all of your genes come from that line, you are part of that immigration process. And I will take the time to recognize that, yes.
Oh, you know what I did do between streams? I had unplugged it. Okay, I'm going to restart my audio. You guys keep watching this video, okay? I'm not going to have audio for a minute. I accidentally unplugged this USB by accident last night. That's what it is.
We stole this land and we slaughtered the indigenous people that lived here. That part of history is not lost on me. I need to show you this next part as well.
The modern left seems dedicated to doing this, to saying you don't belong in America unless you agree with progressive liberalism in 2025. I think the people whose ancestors fought in the Civil War have a hell of a lot more claim over America than the people who say they don't belong.
So you fought in the Civil War, you have more of a claim over America and what it means to be American or being an American than those who complain or say that others don't belong here.
J.D. Vance is talking about white bloodlines. Listen again.
I think the people whose ancestors fought in the Civil War have a hell of a lot more claim over America than the people who say they don't belong.
Did you hear it? This should be front page news. But believe it or not, it gets worse.
Our ancestors realized that to carve a successful nation from new land.
Why would TikTok not work? Why wouldn't TikTok be working? I fixed the microphone, by the way.
Meant creating new, tangible things. New homes, new towns, new infrastructure to tame a wild continent. That is our heritage as Americans.
To tame a wild...
I think so, too. I mean, a lot of people don't like J.D. Vance. A lot of MAGA didn't like J.D. Vance. They're like, who's this guy? They paid money for him, blah, blah, blah. But he's being set up. He's being set up for this potential run. And, God forbid, Trump's in horrible health, right? He keeps having these slips, a lapse of memory. If they were mad about Joe Biden, they should definitely be mad about Trump. Not to mention, his cholesterol has got to be through the fucking roof.
Continent, a place where...
But you're right. They don't know what he believes. And it's crazy shit. Like, imagine saying that the people whose family fought here in the Civil War, Revolutionary War, or whatever, have more of a say to be here than anybody that complains. And your wife is a first-generation U.S.-born citizen. Like, her parents immigrated here. Your wife, dude.
Land meant creating new, tangible things.
And he says that his wife, Usha, is like a litmus test for him. Basically, she tells me when I say something too crazy.
Homes, new towns.
Where you been, Usha?
New infrastructure to tame a wild continent. That is our heritage as Americans.
I just swapped all I did was swap the Roadcaster, the SM7B goes into a Cloud Lifter goes into the Roadcaster goes into the computer, so I can control everything and it works through the computer through USB. I just swapped it to a different port. Good.
Tame a wild continent, a place where indigenous people have always lived, have called home, have actually welcomed white people who immigrated here, taught them how to live off the land only to be turned around and slaughtered. When he says...
What I think is crazy maybe I'm a piece of shit for this. I served in the military, okay? Honorably in combat. When someone tells me, like, if you don't like it, leave or whatever, I feel like I have more of a right to be like, hey, I fought for this fucking country. What have you done? And maybe your thing was like, you've been in civil service your whole life. I'm not going to knock that down either. Like, you know, I've always given back. I do civil service or this, that, the other. Cool. Right? And there are things that give you, I think, that could give you more grounds to speak on these issues or to potentially care more deeply about it. I don't think the thing is, most people that have this horrible, hateful rhetoric about come here in a legal way, you came here illegally, that makes them criminals. All they did were they were born here. Like, they did nothing. They were just born here. Please explain to me what you personally did that you deserve something more than they do trying to come here and become citizens. All that happened was that your mom shat you out here. You didn't earn it. You didn't pay for it. You didn't buy it. You didn't work for it. You didn't do shit. I didn't either. Like, I grew up and served in the military, but I enjoyed all of that from 0 to 18. I enjoyed all that because I was just born here by chance. I could have been born anywhere. And I just happened to be born here. And now I'm telling other people that they're not good enough to come here and become citizens. That is crazy. I didn't have to be good enough. I just happened to be born here.
As wild, know that he means indigenous people. The mission of the Claremont
Sarasota, fuck out of here is now my new top clipper. Did you clip, I don't know. Yeah, there they are. Did you clip something?
Institute is to restore the principles of the American founding to
It was from 3 days ago, but still.
rightful, preeminent authority in our national life. That man who just spewed all of that white
This is the same arguments. I don't care that your family went all the way back to the Revolutionary War. I might find it interesting and talk about it and be like, that's cool. I don't think that gives you more grounds to deserve anything more than me. Whether I was naturalized or a U.S. citizen or first generation citizen or whatever, an immigrant, cool.
white Christian nationalist bullshit, hate-filled language is one heartbeat away from becoming the president of the United States. This is why he skulks in the shadows. This is why he doesn't post every day on X. He's waiting his turn.
God damn it, Bert, my mic sounds good. I just listened to it again. I don't know what you got going on, Bert, Phil. God damn, my mic sounds good. Damn it. Anyways.
To do exactly what he just said he would.
Splattered and baby battered. Splattered and baby battered. That's right. So I know a lot of people like this guy, and I kind of like some of his stuff, right? But I did find this today, which I thought was which he has a good excuse for it as well. So I don't want to take that away. This is that. What's the guy's name? JD Delay? JD? Delay? I don't think I've ever said his name out loud. It's spelled like delay. So this is notorious crazy-ass sheriff saying, we'll shoot you, we'll kill you, we'll run you over with our cars, right? We all know this guy. That's Florida Sheriff, man. That's him. So it says, sheriff who sends people to jail every day. And it says, ex-career criminal turned recovery coach. What's delay? What's interesting is his shirt. And there's going to be a content creator talking about it. Hold on. There's that music playing. The reason I got it muted.
What's up with that shirt? Florida around and find out.
So it says Florida around and find out. It's got an alligator wearing a bulletproof vest with an AK-47. Now, there's a lot of people upset about the alligator Alcatraz merch. This is his merch, okay? He didn't just buy this. He had this merch made. That's his merch. Florida around and find out. And it looks a lot like it would be alligator merch or alligator Alcatraz merch, right? But just by happenstance, I think he claims that he just happened to be talking to his new merch dealer 3 days before Alligator Alcatraz was announced. But also, I feel like before it was officially announced, I remember hearing people talk about it, but
With an alligator,
we're going to look in a second.
like what ice? I don't fucking know. It's so not even subtle. You cannot be an advocate and openly support alligator Auschwitz. This is weird ass behavior.
Now, I feel like he's like a guy that's like pro prison reform, right?
Openly support alligator Auschwitz. This is weird ass behavior.
Y'all just forget all those years that Obama had kids in cages at the border?
No.
Or how about the tent city prison in Arizona? There's a nice little area view of the tents that they had. These people were in
Tons of people protested this tent. They had people dying out here in tents in Arizona.
fucking Arizona, and they didn't have any AC. And it operated for years with American citizens in it like this, but nobody was talking about concentration camps then.
No one was talking about Tent City. No one. No prison reform advocates were ever talking about Arizona prisons. Or
It definitely could be just a Florida thing, like alligators from Florida, put it in a bulletproof vest for some reason, giving it an AK for some reason. I don't know. But it's a big coincidence, I guess.
human rights violations across this country and all the prisons.
I'll show his response in a minute.
In this country. No one was talking about that. And first of all, you don't know if everyone there was a legit American citizen. Like, just put a fucking 88 in your profile name at this point, JD. But back to all of the human rights violations going on in American prisons, we have been screaming about that online for years. You know, like when we first met, right, when you weren't a Nazi, where you had empathy and compassion for people no matter what, where you actually gave a fuck, or at least pretended to give a fuck about the people that you were advocating for. Remember those people? Those in prison? Those struggling with addiction? Yeah, those people? Instead of blocking the prison reform advocates that one, came before you, and two, we're fucking friends with, why don't you listen to what we're saying instead of blocking us and calling us bitches? I know you don't want smoke with me. That's why you don't fucking reply to me. That's why Danny got a paragraph and got called a bitch and I got ignored. You don't want the fucking smoke. And to be honest, neither do I. I don't want to beef with you publicly. I don't want to have such different opinions on shit. I just want you to take a step back and...
So it says that the Florida Attorney General announced it on June 19th of 2025. But I feel like there were also people talking about it before then. About potentially nicknaming it that and talking about it because it was being built before then.
fucking listen to what we're saying. And the reason why people are comparing it to Auschwitz is because Auschwitz was in Poland, right? So El Salvador prisons, people are being taken there without due process and held in concentration camp-like settings. The cruelty in which this administration is operating is out of fucking bounds. They are snatching up people off the street without warrants and putting them in fucking vans and taking them God knows where. Flights of people are leaving, not going to their destination, turning around and coming back to this country, and then bodies are washing up on shore in like Spain with fucking chains and shackles. In 2025, Homeland Security decided that they were going to go into sensitive areas like schools and churches and snatch...
I don't know what this shit is with bodies washing up in fucking handcuffs and leg shackles. That's crazy. If we're doing that, that's fucking crazy.
Fucking kids out of schools and arrest their parents when they go to pick up the kids from schools. This is crazy. You don't get to talk about what's legal and what's illegal when you voted for a felon.
I'm not good with any prison system. I think the alligator Alcatraz is inhumane and cruel. I think that other for-profit prisons are inhumane and cruel. I don't think that we should put prisoners in tents. I mean, yeah, they're criminals or whatever, but should they be in tents when you have like 110-degree weather? There were people dying.
Who is married to a woman who broke immigration law. This administration is fucking lying. My friend was trying to self-deport and they detained him fucking anyway. This is not... You don't get to talk about what's legal.
Again, no one is saying don't go after the criminals. Go after the criminals and the drug lords and the rapists and the murderers and all those people. Go for them. Kind of weird you're raiding restaurants and farms, though.
What's illegal when you voted for areas like schools and churches and snatch fucking kids out of schools and arrest their parents when they go to pick up the kids from schools. This is crazy. You don't get to talk about what's legal and what's illegal when you voted for a felon who is married to a woman who broke immigration law. This administration is fucking lying. My friend was trying to self-deport and they detained him fucking anyway. This is not the same shit and you fucking know that. Where's wood chipper energy?
I don't know. There has been talk that there's like bonuses, a per head bonus. That would explain some of it, but I'm not sure.
Right? Because I thought you were all about putting pedos.
Video captures ICE agents allegedly urinating on Pico Rivera school grounds in broad daylight. This was fucking disgusting, dude. Go find a goddamn porta-john.
Weirdos and wood chippers. So where's that energy for this? The reason why they're comparing it to a concentration camp is because this is straight out of Hitler's fucking playbook. I expected a lot better from you. But then again, what the fuck was I thinking when we all know that you ran with AB? Sorry, the Irish, they fall under AB, right? So this
Aryan Brotherhood. So he was in a prison gang when he was in there with the Irish, which all the white gangs fall under the Aryan Brotherhood.
is gonna be the last video I ever make about you. I'm just so fucking annoyed and disgusted with all the shit that you're openly doing. It's giving Nazi.
All right, so that was the video. And I do think the shirt looks a little bit suspicious, but here's his response saying that the shirt has nothing to do with Alligator Alcatraz. So I don't want to take his response away. Here it is.
A bunch of thirsty little clout goblins have come on here and said that I am making Alligator Alcatraz merch because of this t-shirt. Notice this t-shirt says nothing about Alligator Alcatraz at all. It says
Again, Florida around and find out. It's got an alligator with an AK and a bulletproof vest.
Florida around and find out.
It might not be anything about us. So he says on June 12th, it says the two shirts are somewhat Florida-centric. Florida is one of my favorite. Was one of my largest audience demographics. Shirt goes along with. This is in June 12th.
This is from my email thread with Bunker Branding talking about this shirt design. As you can see, the date on it is June 12th. Shirt 2, Florida around and find out. Obviously Florida themed. I would like an image of an alligator in a bulletproof vest holding some type of an assault rifle. Anything tropical ghetto in the background would be a win. It's not shocking that I would put out a Florida-centric design as somebody who lived here for a decade and comes back here regularly. Also, huge fan of alligators. Literally have one tattooed across my skull. And keep in mind that my design was talked about in that email thread on June 12th. Well, Alligator Alcatraz was not.
I'm sorry, 7 days. June 19th is when it was formally announced.
Publicly announced for the very first time until June 19th. But even if I felt like they were doing every single thing right, I would still not be making merch to capitalize off a government facility that is causing human suffering. Remember in the beginning of this video when I talked about thirsty little.
I think the problem is we've allowed politics to become a personality, right? They're worshiping politicians. What happened to calling out the good and the bad?
Clout goblins, they'll literally use and twist and manipulate anything that they can to get talking points to make themselves look like they are holier than thou and self-righteous. And you guys know that. You're intelligent enough to see through that bullshit. If somebody is out here giving you objective information and debunking bullshit that's being spread on the
It is giving very I'm a 16-year-old girl on Instagram with his ring light on his porch.
Internet to fearmonger and get people up in their feelings to manipulate them into a narrative, that person isn't your enemy, bro. The person who's trying to manipulate.
You're outside in broad daylight. What's the deal with the ring light? I understand your phone's in the middle of it, but turn off the light.
You with fear tactics so that you will go along with their narrative. That is the person that you should be wary of.
All right, so there's that. And then there's a secondary response to that. I don't think he's directly calling out this woman. I think he's calling out one of his closer friends that maybe turned on him or called him out, whatever you want to call it.
Let me explain to y'all why I don't mess with a lot of people. Like, if you're my friend and I go out of my way to be there for you and I give you my number, which I rarely do, and we have an issue or I disagree with you on something, you are never gonna hear about that issue from me on a TikTok video. I trust and believe that you are gonna hear about that issue directly from me. I'm not gonna air it out in public to get clicks and views and make money off of your name. I can't operate like that because I don't think like a little bitch. Like, all this social media shit is one thing, but when it comes to your friends, like people that you'd actually ride out for, and you throw them under the bus because you disagree with them about something and you do it in a public forum, that makes you look weak as fuck, guy. I know you want me to stitch it or call you out by name, tag you in the video, bring more clout to it so that you can get more out of it.
He does meet and hang out with and do podcasts and stuff with a lot of MAGA people. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's being honest.
I'm never going to do that. I'm going to block you like the little bitch that you are. Because I never would have done you like that. I would have talked to you one-on-one, man-to-man with respect. And you know that if you would have hit me up, you would have gotten the same exact operation out of me. You chose to move the way that you move, and now I'm removing you from my life.
That was his response. He might have made the merch differently. I don't know. I can't say for sure. So there you go. That's what's going on TikTok, I guess. What is this? Also, I want to highlight one thing before we move on.
Hey, everybody's asking.
There was one point, I think it's in this video.
It comes to your friends?
No.
Like people that you'd actually ride.
Probably this video.
for the very first time until June 19th. But even if I felt like they were doing every single thing right, I would still not.
Why? His nipples are extra long, right? Like, I'm not the only one that sees that. Like, they're like extra long. I accidentally paused it while I was typing something when I was watching it, because I posted the original video with the girl calling him out, and then Bug's like, here's his response, and here's another one. And I accidentally paused it while I was typing something on my phone, and they're like extra long, right?
Be making merch to capitalize off a government facility that is causing human suffering. Remember in the beginning of this video when I talked about thirsty little clout goblins? They'll literally use and twist and manipulate anything that they can to get talking points to make themselves look.
It's so hard to catch it in the wild. Look at both of them. That's not... Do I have short nipples? Please tell me these are longer than average, because mine are nowhere near this length. Like, even rock hard, they're like... Am I broken, chat? Should I start stretching them out? Longer than average. Thank God. I was about to panic. I have to have nipple reconstructive surgery.
Hey, everybody's asking me what I think about my uncle, the older millennial, getting out of jail, and I think it's funny considering he was in there for so long because he got in trouble for blowing a guard to try and get out early. Yeah.
What?
Hey, everybody's asking me what I think about my uncle, the older millennial, getting out of jail, and I think it's funny considering he was in there for so long because he got in trouble for blowing a guard to try and get out early. Yeah, he says that he was in there so long because they only move prisoners once a week, and there was also the holidays, but no, they move prisoners every 3 days, and holidays don't matter. He actually got extra time because he got in trouble for blowing a guard. The older millennial who blew a guard in jail also has his stitches turned off in the settings of his TikTok page, so nobody can stitch him and ask him why he blew a guard in jail.
No, obviously this isn't true, and it isn't even his uncle. But this guy's funny sometimes.
Hey, everybody's asking me what I think about my uncle, the older millennial, getting out of jail, and I think it's funny considering he was in there for so long because he got in trouble for blowing a guard to try and get out early. Yeah, he says that he was in there so long because they only move prisoners once a week, and there was also the holidays, but no, they move prisoners every 3 days, and holidays don't matter. He actually got extra time because he got in trouble for blowing a guard. The older millennial who blew a guard in jail also has his...
It's like we already established that. So now when he starts his next sentence, he's the older millennial who blew the guard in jail. Like, you just made that claim, but now it's established. It just goes with it.
Turned off in the settings of his TikTok page, so nobody can stitch him and ask him why he blew a guard in jail.
I understand nipples can be like bigger or smaller or round, and typically females have larger nipples, and they even come out further. But I just strange to me to see a man with like 1.5-inch nipples.
Hey, everybody.
Very good video. We need to check on, let's see. We need to check on Bunny. Bunny Funny. I think it's Bunny B Funny or something like that. It's her account. Yeah.
Hey, buddy, I'm doing a video tomorrow talking about the MCU, and we're doing another round of people.
Wait, this is a recent live stream, obviously. They said that you are no longer associated with them in any way.
So you should be excited about that.
I don't fuck with you.
There's the public statement. Older millennial, also known as the older millennial Joe Redden, was previously served as a spokesperson and board member MCUC, has not been involved with the cooperative since he decided to kind of run for re-election in December of 2024. Sorry, I had to mute the music. It's the I don't fuck with you, you little stupid ass bitch. But now she's talking on.
You were kind of out of the loop for a hot minute, there for about 2 weeks, and you didn't have access to internet, but maybe you didn't check whenever you got out. Maybe you didn't get the memo. MCU put out a public statement saying that you're not a part of them anymore. You're not the face of them. You're not a part of the board. So why would you do a video about MCU if you're not connected to them anymore? Maybe I should ask MCU that. Why would they let you put out a video if you're not?
So that's interesting.
Anymore?
Why would you be putting out videos with MCU if you're no longer associated with them in any way? Seems kind of weird, right? I want to catch back up. Proof 400 times. I think that was the first one, right? Let's see.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, okay. So we are caught up.
Hey, I have a question. Why don't Trump supporters just say there is a list?
Hey, let me ask a question for all of the MAGA fights that are spewing hate in my comments right now. Just serious, honest question. So since they've now come out and said that there's no client list and Epstein's self-delete was legitimate, when is Trump going to start his apology tour? Because I distinctly remember in 2019... when MAGA just went straight ham, blaming the Clintons, I think it was, for Jeffrey's removal from our worldly existence. So when are we going to see that apology tour start?
It always blew my mind that Donald Trump's the president in charge of the entire executive branch, including the Department of Justice, the prisons, everything, right? And Epstein dies, and immediately they're like, the Democrats did it. Really?
When are we going to see that apology tour start? I'm just curious.
Hey, I have a question. Why don't...
That's the reality that we're actually living in.
No, Joe. The reality that we're living in right now is that you lack the ability to take accountability for...
He did. He lost his E. Jean Carroll appeal for the defamation verdict, right? I don't guess he lost. They affirmed the jury verdict that found President Donald Trump liable for sexually abusing and defaming E. Jean Carroll. Yeah. Now, Trump can take that to the Supreme Court. He's ordered to pay $5 million in damages.
For your own actions, so you're trying to play the victim. And
that was the second, it was the Second Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals, I think, is where he's at.
Put it off on me. No, Joe. The reality that we're living in is that you suffer from some significant problems that you need to deal with. No, Joe. The reality that you live in is that you're a drunk. You're a drunk who can't hold a real job because of your drinking. So you spend all day as a content creator on your Discord and your Twitch, playing games with kids who are probably prepubescent. You spend your time around college kids because people your own age who are decent people don't want to have anything to do with you. I don't know what's going on in your head that has caused you to drink yourself into a stupor every...
He does. I think the older millennial does a really good job. Look, I'm fat, okay? And I look fat, and when I'm on camera, I'm fat. When I do videos, I'm fat. I need to lose some weight. The older millennial does a really good job of framing himself as if he's like super fit on TikTok. When you see a video of him with his gigantic beer belly, you're like, oh, he's just old and sad.
Every single day. And honestly, I'm a little disappointed that you didn't take advantage of your sobriety to go get help. I'm really disappointed in all of the creators that came on TikTok and dragged me, talking about how we should care about your mental health and your addiction when you don't even care. See, Joe, the reality is I didn't stalk you. I live hours upon hours away from you, and my background never changed, unlike yours whenever you started fleeing that arrest warrant. What I did is called subject location. It's the same as bounty hunting, and it's fully legal. And had your bond company wanted you in jail, they would have done the same thing or hired somebody like me to do it. I just did it for free. The reality is you or one of your minions sent that message to try and get me to stop looking at the MCU, and I'm not going to stop. And now the reality is that you have prepubescence, believing your bullshit and coming into my comments, that or you're bot farming. And maybe the reason that I'm seeing an ebb and flow in the hatred is because it directly aligns with the amount of money you have available to pay for all of that. The reality is you did it to yourself, and nobody's stalking you at all. You're just being held.
She was actually checking into the MCU. This is directly relevant to the MCU. If you want to know that their spokesperson, someone running it who claims to be a 20% owner, a 1/5 owner of the MCU, even though it's supposed to be a cooperative owned by the members, has warrants for his arrest.
Accountable, and your narcissism keeps you from being able to accept that. See, the one thing we know about narcissists, especially narcissists who suffer from the mental disability of alcoholism, is that if they can't control you, then they're going to control the narrative about you. But it doesn't matter. You're not going to stop me. I wish you all the best, and I hope you're ready for what comes next. See, Joe, I'm about to give you a very rough lesson in how the law actually works. I'm going to serve you with discovery, and since you did this all online, the court is going to force you to let me fish around in your Discord and your Twitch and your TikTok. They're going to let me see if you really did do it, because I have the right to build a case. And I can promise you that I am going to fish around. And I can also promise...
So right now, Trump just doesn't like the ruling for the E. Jean Carroll stuff, okay? And he just wants somebody to overturn it. The problem is you have to show some type of error, right? They shouldn't have used this evidence, or they were wrong when they did this, or they presented the case wrong, or they contaminated evidence, or they made a false claim and I can prove it. That you can't just say I don't like it. Yeah, the court basically said that he has not even claimed, much less show. It's his burden to show that an error, or his lawyer's burden. He hasn't even claimed that they made an error.
you that if you do hire an attorney, they're going to settle out of court with me to keep you from getting caught. But we'll see what the court case says.
That's the reality that we're actually living in.
No.
Let's go to the next one.
Looks like I'm getting under your skin, Joe. Is it because I'm holding you accountable? Or is it because I'm a female that doesn't know her place and won't sit down and shut up? And
so some of the older millennials' oldest videos that kind of got attention was him basically like telling women to be in their place and make a sandwich. Just, you know how I joke? I think he legitimately believes this. Subservient to men, I guess. Yeah.
Ow, in awe of the...
There is. So there's a $5 million defamation lawsuit, and then there's an $88.3 million defamation. No, I think the total is 88.3. I remember 88.3. I think that might be the total. I can't remember.
Masculinity that is you. See, I didn't know how you got your start here on social media. I just assumed that it was always a MAGA rage bait thing, that was your whole platform. I didn't realize that you started out demeaning women. Here, I caught this video this morning. It gave me a little insight. Hold on.
And call it heinous fucking bullshit, including Joe. But I'm not a woman, so Joe won't call me out on his platform because we all know how Joe feels about women versus men. Because his original start here on TikTok was demonizing women and trying to tell them they need to pander and cater to men and not talk back. And that's the entire reason he has been all over the throat of Bunny Billionaire right now, because she's a woman who didn't back down from his fucking manliness and wasn't scared of a fucking man and held him accountable for his fucking action.
Is that why you went so hard after Sarah? Because she wouldn't back down either? Tell me,
Sarah smiles.
Is that why I have had to suffer through your lives where I watch you hit on women half your age because you think if you go younger, you might be able to control them? Is that why your ex-wife and Emily left you? Because you're a chauvinist? Or was it just the drinking and probably... Maybe it's because...
Okay, 83.3 in additional damages. 88.3 total. 5 million, then 83.3 makes 88.3.
Long-term heavy consumption of alcohol leads to impotence, erectile dysfunction. And we all know how much men love to accuse women of being the root cause of why their little soldier won't salute, right? Alas, another thing I have over you. I don't need a little blue or orange pill to get my rocks off. Nevertheless, Joe, stay tuned because I have an interesting little tidbit for you about the Federal Trade Commission coming up in my next video. I know you're going to love it. Looks like I'm getting...
Hey, he sued ABC News anchor George Stephanopoulos because George Stephanopoulos said that the jury found Trump liable for rape in the case, which technically they did. Even the fucking judge said yes. Under basically any other state's law, it would be rape. But because we're here in New York, it is sexual assault. Very specifically here. I think they paid him like fucking $15 million or some shit to his presidential library.
Hey, Joe, here's that video I told you to keep an eye out for. So now, did you know that in October 2024, the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, amended the FTC Act to include regulations and penalties for people who use bots or bot farming to manipulate algorithms on social media?
I think a lot of people bot farm their shit to get it started in the algorithm to get it in front of people.
Now, let me give you an example of what that means. Say there's a social media creator out there. They have a large following, say like 2, 3, 4. or 500,000 people, and they engage the services or usage of bots and or bot farms to augment the algorithm to push their videos out, to manipulate real engagement, to get clicks and likes in order to obtain financial compensation through things like the creator program, creator rewards program. That's all now considered unlawful on some level or another. It comes with fines upwards to like, I think it's like $52,000, maybe 51 and some change per incident. Now, why do I mention this, Joe? Well, because I can't help but notice a trend in my comments, in the timing of them and the words they use. See, when you have had long-term trauma inflicted on you, one of the skills you develop as a trauma response is pattern recognition. And I've noticed a strong pattern here in the words used and the types of profiles they come from. It would appear that a lot of bots are leaving hateful comments on my videos in the afternoon and evening hours around the time that you post your first videos when it starts. And I've gone and checked those profiles to take a look, and they're usually like zero.
Yeah, so I don't want to take away from what she's saying, but yes, the judge in the case later clarified that because of New York's narrow legal definition of rape, the jury did not mean that Carol failed to prove that Mr. Trump raped her, as many people commonly misunderstand. It's just because they have such a narrow definition of it there. So when he said the jury found him guilty of rape, that's technically a false statement. But everybody knew that's what happened.
0 followers or just a couple of followers, definitely in the single digits, but they're following like 100, 500, 1,000, 2,000 people to try and, get that following count up. But the crazy thing is they have 0 likes and they don't
But because he's a public figure, they probably could have won that case, but how much would they have spent defending themselves?
mention this, Joe? Well, because I can't help but notice a trend in my comments, in the timing of them and the words they use. See, when you have had long-term trauma inflicted on you, one of the skills you develop as a trauma response is pattern recognition. And I've noticed a strong pattern here in the words used and the types of profiles they come from. It would appear that a lot of bots are leaving hateful comments on my videos in the afternoon and evening hours.
I do think he's botting. And I've seen a lot of very similar comments. Either he's telling people in Discord what to type, or he's botting and telling roughly the bots what to type out. There's slight nuances and changes or whatever, like an expensive bot would do, but it's the same overall message.
Around the time that you post your first videos when it starts. And I've gone and checked those profiles to take a look, and they're usually like 0 followers or just a couple of followers, definitely in the single digits, but they're following like 100, 500, 1,000, 2,000 people to try and, get that following count up. But the crazy thing is they have 0 likes and they don't have any videos posted. And usually their username is like just a bunch of numbers, or it's just a bunch of crazy words thrown together. See, now those are indicators.
I remember one time they tried to say that Buck Girl was a fake person defending me because she only had 5 YouTube subscribers. But she doesn't make YouTube videos, right? She doesn't produce content on YouTube. It's kind of interesting. She even had 5 subscribers or whatever the number was. It was single digits, I think. Like, they're like, oh, that's a bot. You can tell. Everybody's YouTube account could have subscribers, but most of you have 0 or maybe single digits. If you're not putting out content.
Of bots. And then burners, I usually know when those are real, but those bots tend to use the same words. Now, I posted a video this morning, the one just before this, obviously. And
sometimes the bot just gets bitchy too. That's right. And everybody knows that Bug calls Legend the bot for whatever reason.
The time that I am recording this now, I have received 13 hateful comments on that video that I have screenshotted and deleted. Of those 13 hateful comments, 11 of those accounts were bots. I know they were bots because of their follower count versus their following count versus their likes count. And they all used those keywords that are coming up in mass quantity. Things like obsessed, obsession. Let's see, what was the other one that was a big one? Oh, stalker, stalking, stalked. Those are the 2 that I'm seeing the most out of everything. Now, the other 2 that were in there were burners. It was clear that they were burners because they had actual videos, and guys, thanks for those license plates. But they obviously weren't their primary accounts. And both of those said the exact same thing. Leave Joe alone. Well, I would love to leave Joe alone. Joe just has to post a retraction, tell everybody that he lied, and I will leave him alone. But I will not leave MCU alone. Now, we're going to do an experiment today. We're going to do a little experiment this afternoon. We're going to see, after Joe posts his first video, how much that hate comment quotient upticks on my last video and this one. And let's just see if maybe there's some bottage going on.
New York law. Yeah, I do think he uses bots. I do think he's using bots for her, or specifically telling them what to say, one of the 2. Also, or they're making like a bunch of burner accounts and posting the same things over and over again. Also, the current law in New York, they were trying to expand it. The reason it's such a narrow definition is the current law of New York is it's one of the core tenets is vaginal penetration by penis. So you could be raped by a fucking stick or something like that, right? An inanimate object. But under New York, that would not be, they would not fall under their rape law. I don't know if they actually expanded it, but they were trying to. Let's see if she has any more.
I think I figured it out.
Nope. That's a pinned video. The fucking older millennial, dude. My stalker got me. His charges have been referred for prosecution. So we'll have to wait and see. He hasn't banned me yet. I comment all the time, stupid shit. in his thing, but
You know, there's something we need to recognize about all the political
let's do it.
and ideological conversations that we have on this app. And that is that no matter how much you think the other person you're talking to is evil, right? No matter how bad you think they are, no matter how bad you think their ideas are, in their head, they're on the side of good, right? Like that's something we need to recognize.
I've said this 1,000 times. No one out here is thinking, I want to be part of this party because I want to destroy America. They think that they're doing the right thing.
Whether you're talking to like a person who believes in socialism, a person who believes in capitalism, a person that's pro-abortion versus a person that's pro-life, a person that supports Trump, a person that supports Biden, a person that supports Kamala, like, it doesn't matter what the conversation is about. Everyone thinks they're on the right side. I think a lot of us have conversations with other people as if...
Let me read you these comments. So you remember this video we just watched? Did I skip over it? The older millennial blew the prison guard, right? So let me read you the comments. How big was this guard? Was it the same guard or a different guard every night? So was it one guard or was it more? I mean, I suppose it was nice you blew that guard. It's just frowned upon in prison. So this guard, do you still see him? So was the guard a producer or what? Not the guard. What was the guard's name? How many guards? The older inmate. Was the guard worth extra time? Bro resisted arrest, couldn't resist the guard. Is it true? You and the guard? Was the guard a gentle lover? So obviously, they have drummed up some blowing the guard comments. Dude, what about the guard?
The other person recognizes that they're doing something bad, that they recognize they're doing something evil, that they might recognize that they're on the wrong side. But I mean, regardless, that's all a matter of perspective. And when we have these conversations with each other, we have to understand that the person we're talking to fully believes they're right. I mean, as long as they're being intellectually honest. But at the end of the day, I mean, everyone thinks they're right. Everyone thinks they're...
That's why I personally think it's so hard to debate people that are dug in on anti-abortion. I don't even want to call them pro-life. Anti-abortion people. They've got it in your head that you are committing murder. So imagine trying to argue for and change somebody's mind about murdering a 1-year-old. Right? You're just not going to.
Supporting the right person. Everyone thinks they're supporting the right cause. So when we have these conversations, we have to recognize that the person that we're talking to doesn't disagree with us because they want to disagree with us. They disagree because they truly believe that what they think is the right thing. I mean, look, this isn't going to change the discourse we have because people just fucking love arguing, but it is...
Oh, it was that crazy... help me remember, mods. Who was the crazy trucker lady that said she called the detectives on us? She did a live stream, and she had that fat homeless guy on there. What was his name that said, I like this new generation of veterans. You're not a real veteran unless you were drafted or some shit. But she was a trucker lady. Her husband died and her daughter died or something. And she was always trying to call me out, and I was trying to be nice to her. Oh, it was Christina. I thought it was Michelle. Was that it? You guys thinking of Michaela Robertson?
Hey, do all you gun control advocates recognize that when you say you want to take away firearms, what you're actually saying is that you have absolute and unshakable confidence in the morality of the U.S. government? Because there's no gun control that would take their firearms away from them. Like, the only thing that would happen is you'd have a completely disarmed populace and a government that has the ability to institute anything they want. So when you want to take firearms away from the citizens, what you're really saying is that you think the government is always going to do the right thing, that they are always going to make the right decision, that they are always going to do what's best for the American people, and that they will never abuse their power. And I have to say that if you think that's true, you're a fucking idiot. Like, you have to be absolutely fucking moronic to think that's a reality. Because the government has not only never given us a reason to even remotely fucking trust them, but they have actively given us reasons not to. Like, I don't care who's in office. It could Kamala, Biden, Clinton, Trump. No matter who's there, I don't fucking trust them. I don't trust the government because, fuck, why would I? There's no reason to. But yeah, please recognize that if you're for gun control, you're for taking firearms away from citizens, what you're saying is...
I just want to see if he addressed his arrest anymore.
Literally nothing Trump could do that would make liberals happy. And that's not hyperbole.
This is the dumbest thing. Trump could cure cancer, and you would say cancer was good now.
I could prove that. Like, think about it this way. So under Trump, if the stock market surges, that's just because he made policies that benefit rich people. If the stock market crashes, that's because he doesn't know how to manage an economy. If the stock market stays the same, yeah, that's only happening because he kept Biden's policies in place. Like, think about foreign relations. If we sign peace deals or treaties with other...
You realize that you're talking about the guy who took credit for the stock market when he first came into office. Then it took a dip after he'd been in office for like 3 months, and he said that's Biden's economy.
countries, that's just President Trump appeasing foreign leaders, coddling up to dictators. If we don't sign any peace treaties or any new deals, that's Trump's inexperience with foreign policy. If there's no conflict anywhere else in the world, that's because Trump made deals with bad people. And the liberals will say they just don't want to make him look bad. If there is conflict around the world, that's because Trump is a weak leader. If Trump doesn't create any new economic programs or
you do not give a fuck, a single fuck about protecting children if you hear Trump say that he used to go backstage at the Miss Teen USA pageant and stare at the girls while they were changing because he was allowed to inspect the show. If that didn't turn you off from Trump, you don't give a fuck about protecting kids from predators. You just don't. You want to look like you do. You want to claim you do. You want to say throw them all in wood chippers or whatever the fuck your new slogan is, but you don't.
Spend any large amounts of money, that's Trump not caring about the American people. If Trump creates new economic programs and spends money to take care of other people, that's Trump wasting our money. I mean, I can apply this to everything. It doesn't matter what it is. No matter what Trump does, the liberals will have a problem with it. So if y'all are wondering why he's just doing whatever
Trump could die, that would make me happy until J.D. Vance took over. Then I would blame Trump for dying.
The fuck he wants, it's because no matter what he does, the liberals and the leftists are going to hate it. So fuck them. You know, there's literally nothing Trump can do that would make
everybody believes that they've got a good idea about government, even if you don't agree with them. They hate Trump, so fuck them.
On this planet should have to pay for food. It should be free.
Okay, that's a really cool idea. How do you make that happen?
I personally think that the most basic of foods, the most basic of housing, and basic health care should all be free for Americans at least, right? When you're homeless, there are to be well-funded centers that you can go in, like a homeless shelter, but they're not full. They're not turning people away. They're well-funded, well-lit, taken care of, got security guards, safe environment, right? I can't believe universal health care is still a fucking thing that we can't get here. And basic food, you ought to be able to go to, whether you got money or not, you ought to be able to go to a bread line or something and get basic foods.
Like, seriously, I would love for that to be a real thing. I would love to know that there's not a single person going hungry on this earth. But how do you do?
I can't believe that people can think about kids being hungry and vote against any policy that would cause more of that. A child that can't provide for themselves. They don't get to pick their fucking parents. They don't get to pick their life or how they grew up. Like, that's insane.
Do that. But you actually have to have a plan to institute something like that. And I'm assuming, since you said this, that you have a plan. Oh, wait, you...
Yeah, every county ought to have something set up like dorms. And if you lose your house, you and your whole family can check in. They got resources you might need to apply for jobs or maintain or get paperwork, because a lot of people, you lose Social Security card, driver's license, shit like that in a fire or a flood or whatever. And you ought to be able to stay there, and it should be well taken care of. It shouldn't be a scary place. It shouldn't be a hard place to get in. It should be a place overrun by drug users. There should be security there. There should be some type of safety net there.
You don't? Yeah, I mean, I assume, just like a leftist. Because leftists are amazing at having results that they want, but they never have an actual plan of how to institute those things. Like, because if you're going to have free food for everyone, who's paying the farmers to farm? Who's paying the transportation companies to take that food from the farm to the stores? Who's paying for the packaging? Who's paying for the preservatives? Who's paying for the store to operate? Who's paying for the employees to operate in that store? Because all the people that are part of this process don't just need money for food, right? They need money for housing, for gas, for...
We're on day 25 of our 30-day intimacy challenge.
For the love of God, just break up. Like, I'm sorry, guys, but if you're in a relationship with somebody and you view...
White people, why is it that y'all...
I wonder if he did blow that prison guard.
I don't know about y'all, but I really, really enjoy watching big banks be afraid.
He said he was going to give so many more details about his arrest. That's what I'm looking for.
And that is exactly what's happening right now. Like, if you saw the recent article from the Wall Street Journal where they talked about how they really enjoy watching big banks be afraid. And that is exactly what's happening right now. Like, if you saw the recent article from the Wall Street Journal where they talked about how the woke Wall Street banks are now begging begging for the red states to let them back in. Because you remember a little while ago, these motherfuckers were debanking conservatives. And now these big banks have come begging right back to Texas, Oklahoma, Florida. They're backpedaling real fucking quick from their anti-gun and their anti-fossil fuel positions. And they're super worried that Trump's going to strip them of their federal contracts. Here's the thing, liberals, if you're going to come in here and try to defend big banks, yeah, go ahead and do that in the comment section. I cannot wait to watch y'all defend the billionaires that own the fucking banks. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention one of the topics that I always discuss, the CCCA.
So the article is big banks are now worried about being Trump's next target. Big banks are worried about being Trump's next target. I don't think we should be defending big banks, but I also don't think in America that banks should be that anybody should be worried about being the president's next fucking target. Texas and Oklahoma have banned some banks from state contracts, saying they discriminate against gun and fossil fuel industries. Isn't that right? Or isn't this a free nation? Or okay, no, we're not doing that anymore. That was just that's just when people don't want to make cakes or something. I don't remember. Penis cakes, right? Let's see if we can get this full article. That's insane, dude.
Which is basically like the fucking whipped cream and the cherry on top of fucking these banks over. Because seriously, that's the only way we're going to introduce market competition. And the fact that this bipartisan bill still has not been passed is one of the most aggravating things that I've ever dealt with in the fucking political world. Like, this thing is a no-brainer, and they still haven't passed it. But anyway, like I said, I've been fighting for a while to stop this fucking swipe fee monopoly, but it's so much fun now to watch the big banks come begging to the conservatives. Look, I don't know about y'all, but I really, really enjoy watching. They really do pretend like we don't have Google.
When I went to Iran, there were plenty of women walking around the street with no scarf on.
No, there weren't. Like, there just weren't. That's a lie. Do you know how I know that's a lie? Because Iran literally has a law saying you have to wear it. Like, it's not like a cultural thing where they're like, we encourage you to wear the headscarf. It's not like, oh, well, they'll look at you funny if you don't wear a headscarf. No, it's a fucking law with police that are specially there to enforce. Like, this isn't even... All right, so let's have a quick talk about Zohran Mamdani, because he seems to be your fucking socialist hero of the hour. Y'all understand, he's...
And Trump's going after him, remember?
He's not even middle class, working class. He's none of those things. He has a $10 million trust fund. He didn't have an actual job until he was 29. No, he spent his 20s as a SoundCloud rapper because he was rich and he can do that type of shit. If you don't believe me about that, go ahead and look it up. His rap name was Mr. Cardamom. I wish I was fucking joking about that. But like, he grew up in a penthouse in Manhattan with a dad who teaches Marxism at Columbia and a mom who's a pretty successful filmmaker. Like, literally all his money comes from capitalism. His trust fund is funded by his mother's capitalism. His rap career was funded by his mother's capitalism. If you want to have just a slight consideration of how fucking wealthy this dude is, check out what his wedding was like in Dubai. This dude is like preaching socialism and equity and equality to you, all while living like fucking royalty. Here's the thing. I think anybody who believes in socialism is...
It's crazy that somebody can have a thought that we need to take care of those with less than us, and also have a wealthy family, I guess.
Fucking idiot to begin with. But if you're going to be an idiot, you could at least take, I don't know, 30 seconds and maybe look up the dude you're supporting. All right, so let's have a quick talk about Zohran Mamdani, because he seems to be your... Guys, let's do a fun little hypothetical in regards to fucking crazy person.
All right, so this one's about Bunny. This is what we're looking for.
If you...
Damn it, what'd I just do?
Guys, let's do a fun little hypothetical in regards to this fucking crazy person, Bunny. Right? And for this hypothetical, all we got to do, switch the genders. Right? Let's imagine that there was a guy out there doing what Bunny is doing to a girl. Like, just imagine that there's like a big female creator here on this platform, and then this small creator guy started wanting to interact with her. And because he creeped her the fuck out, she blocked him, and then he proceeded to create a bunch of fake accounts so he could record her content and listen on what she was saying. And then let's pretend he also...
It's public content, and you're the spokesperson for a $3 million+ cooperative that people think is a scam.
Doxed her address as well as her license plate number, and then proceeded to try to reach out to everybody in her life, to include her ex-fiance and even her ex-husband from 12 years ago. And then in addition to that, he started to drive around her neighborhood and drive by her house, like taking pictures and hoping to catch a glimpse of her. And then when she kept him blocked because she just didn't want to interact with him, he literally started to follow her around town. Like, y'all would say that that person is fucking...
But that's not happening. Other people took a picture of your tag. Your shit is public because you're on probation, right? She's not following you around town. None of this other stuff is happening. She didn't get you arrested. You violated probation 8 different ways, according to the updated affidavit from your probation officer.
Insane. Like, you would think that that person is batshit fucking crazy, and you would fear for that woman's safety, and you would hate that man. Well, yeah, so that's the fucking reality. Like, there is no bunny versus older millennial. There is no internet beef. There is me, who immediately blocked the fucking crazy.
By the way, normally he goes after these people, attacks these people, goes and goes and goes. But now he's like, I don't, after she exposed him, found him, got him arrested, all this. There is no beef. It's just her harassing me, and I'm done with it.
Person. And then the crazy person who did crazy shit. That's the reality that we're actually living in. I never considered that if I got a stalker, it would be an old lady who works at Walmart. But this is my reality. Guys, let's do a fun little hypothetical in regards to this fucking crazy person bunny, right? And for this hypothetical, all we got to do, switch the genders, right? Let's imagine if you've made content trying to establish a connection between cuts at Noah and what happened in Texas, you're a piece of shit.
Okay. It may not have been, have you guys heard this new thing? It may not be cuts at Noah, right? It seems like some people have figured out that there was even extra staff on hand at the weather service, okay? But what if I told you that Biden sent money, that one of the things they could have used it for was like these flood sensors and alert system, but they said that Biden was this crazy communist devil worshiper and they didn't want to take money from him because they were afraid strings were attached. It's part of the Infrastructure Act. And not only did they not want to take money from him, they took it, but refused to use it. And the head of their city council said, we're hanging on to it instead of sending it back because we don't want other blue states to have this money. Wouldn't that be interesting? Wouldn't that be a story?
I don't know if I'm more angry at or for Kerr County at this point. In 2021, Kerr County was sent over $10 million in federal funds that they could have allocated towards upgrading the flood warning system. At first, they didn't want to accept it because they didn't trust the Biden admin. But did they return these funds? No, because they didn't want the funds to possibly go towards a blue state instead.
Excuse me? My old law partner, John Corrin, tells me that if we send it back, it's going to New Jersey, or it's going to go to New York, or it's going to, Miss Lavender says, California. Judge Kelly says, or California. And so I don't know if I'd rather be the custodian of the money until we decide what we have to do with it, rather than giving it back to the government to spend it on values that we know Kerr County doesn't agree with. One of the options they had to spend this money on were these sensors that are placed on the bank. They detect how high the water is and set off alarms in a chain saying, hey, water's coming. And obviously, fucking electricity travels faster than water. So it gets ahead. It starts tripping and going down and down and down until these alarms that you cannot sleep through start going off. Nope. We don't want that money from that communist Biden.
These funds? No, because they didn't want the funds to possibly go towards a blue state instead. I guess it is a little lucky that they ended up holding on to the funds just so a blue state couldn't get at them, because they did eventually end up spending them. Obviously not on the flood warning system, though. Funds were part of the American Rescue Plan Act. ARPA sent billions of dollars across the nation to help with economic recovery, intended to be spent on government services, infrastructure, etc. Yes, these funds could have been used for a flood warning system. I've gone through years worth of Kerr County Commissioner Court transcripts. That's basically their town hall hall or city council equivalent. The people of Kerr County didn't want to accept the funds, mainly because they mistrusted the administration. This guy called it the most criminal, treasonous communist government ever to hold the White House. And
excuse me?
Ever.
My name is Frank Wade, 175 Beaver Road, Ingram, Texas, and I'm here to ask this court today to send this money back to the Biden administration, which I consider the most criminal, treasonous, communist government ever to hold the White House. And Kerr County should not be accepting anything from these people. They're currently facilitating an invasion of our border, and we're going to support these people. So that's what I have to say. Thank you. Any other public input? Applause. He got an applause for that. Please, no applause. We're here to listen. You may proceed, Mr. King. They could have put in a system that saved all those little white Christian girls. It's horrible. It's tragic. They had the money for the system. It's an infrastructure bill. It came through fucking Congress. Biden's given that so he can put strings on it to make us communists.
Nation to help with economic recovery, intended to be spent on government services, infrastructure, etc. Yes, these funds could have been used for a flood warning system. I've gone through years worth of Kerr County Commissioner Court transcripts. That's basically their town hall or city council.
It wasn't like no one knew, like we could use this for a flood warning system. That's one of the things they had pitched before several times and never had the money. And when this money came, they're like, hey, we could probably use this for a flood warning system. Nope.
Equivalent. The people of Kerr County didn't want to accept the funds, mainly because they mistrusted the administration. This guy called it the most criminal, treasonous communist government ever to hold the White House. And he got applauded, by the way. They said that the funds were just their taxpayer money being returned to them with strings attached. No mention, of course, that it's the evil blue states that largely fund areas like Kerr County with their taxes. This person, ironically, went through Hurricane Harvey.
We went through Hurricane Harvey. We were there all by ourselves, like an island in the middle of the water. Since we left, they've had so many floods and catastrophes. And who's at the helm? Well, it's a socialist Marxist regime. Biden, the socialist Marxist regime. They have, I can't really tell you how I know this, but the regime that's there running elections has been in collusion with the White House, taking the people from the border into areas where they know they need a buffer. They need more votes. What I'm telling you is that don't trust them. Don't allow them to take 1 inch of space, because if they do, we will never get it back. Just trying to tell you what happened there in my experience. So thank God we're here. I'm a native Texan. I'm almost 40% Native American, and the rest is Spanish. I got here. My family got here before many that are here. My great-grandfather came, and then he cuts off. These people are fucking lunatics. And to say that, hey, we're going to hold the money because we're afraid that it'll go to a fucking blue state is disgusting. It's infrastructure money. If you're not going to fucking use it, let someone use it for public infrastructure.
They said, we were there all by ourselves like an island in the middle of water. Since we left, they have had so many floods and catastrophes. And who's at the helm? Well, it's a socialist Marxist regime. Then they accused the admin of bringing people over the border to win things. And of course, describe themselves as a native Texan, almost 40% Native American, the rest Spanish. FEMA even came up a few times. Don't even worry about it. Supposedly, it's a completely...
On December 13th, I reminded you about FEMA being created, empowered by executive orders, and now it has the power to suspend laws, move, quarantine populations, and arrest and detain citizens without a warrant, and hold them indefinitely without a trial, seize property and assets. These people are fucking lunatics. They're crazy conspiracy theorists. This is the big conspiracy where they're going to round us all up and put us in FEMA camps, right? You remember that was a big thing? Every time someone saw a tank on a train, they're like, the UN's here to move us to FEMA camps. This is it. Hold you indefinitely without trial, seize your property and assets, food supplies, transportation systems, and even suspend the Constitution of the United States simply by being published in the registry, which AARP is through. I'm sorry, ARPA is through. AARP would be old people. ARPA. By signing these new executive orders, compliance contracts, you have placed every citizen and resident of Kerr County under potential FEMA control.
Lawless entity that can arrest people without a warrant, hold them without due process in camps, and answers to...
That sounds a lot like what ICE is currently doing. They were super worried about FEMA. They can suspend laws, move quarantine populations, arrest and detain citizens without a warrant, and hold them indefinitely without trial, seize property and assets, food supplies, transportation systems, and even suspend the Constitution of the United States simply by being published in the register. Sounds a lot like ICE, but they're not worried about ICE. ICE is the good ones.
Absolutely no one, because it was created.
When he tried to tell everybody that the self-checkout and the online order stations were to lock people in his Walmart. So Liberty Warriors, local Walmart, they got an upgrade, like a remodel. And when you come in the doors on the left was self-checkout, on the right was like where they have those carts where you order online and you pick it up. They either bring it to your car or you could come in and pick it up or whatever. But it's like a big cart with a bunch of blue baskets in it. And because that area is restricted, it had like a little turnstile that you had to like scan into because they put that stuff in the basket and it's somebody's order. They don't want you going through it. He tried to convince his audience that this is the first stage. Ryan Upchurch did this too. That Walmart was a center that had everything they needed in it, including an outdoor fenced-in area, and they're going to start holding Americans there. He tried to convince his audience that they were going to round people up and make them live in Walmart. Republicans.
By executive orders. I know. Oh, for some reason, they also claim that it can suspend the Constitution. It was the commissioner judge, the top dog, who said that they would not be returning the money just so that they could deny it.
All right, so this was the commissioner judge, the guy in charge of the whole commission. And it says a year or two, my old law partner, John Corrin, tells me that if we send it back, California, New Jersey, whatever, and so I would rather be a custodian of the money until we decide what we have to do with it rather than giving it back to the government to spend it on values that we in Kerr County don't agree with. So, and then someone else steps in and says, and any spending of it would have to be done in commissioner's court so you'll be able to see it and know it.
It to states like New Jersey, New York, and California. No, the flood warning system never got upgraded, but the good news is the sheriff's department ended up with almost all of the over $10 million. So the largest amount spent was around $7 million on upgrading the communication system for the sheriff's.
And they still gave it to the police department. Even after all this argument and shit, eventually they were told you either have to spend it or give it back. They gave it all to the police department, almost all of it.
Department and the fire department. Despite the fact that the original estimate was $3 to $5 million and the original bid was a little over $5 million. The bid didn't include every little detail, an extra $2 million.
That sounds sketchy as fuck, right? So the police department, fire department want to upgrade their radio systems. They get a bid that comes in like, hey, we don't know all of it, but it'll be somewhere between $3 and $5 million. They budget $5 million for it. Now it comes back as $7 million. So they get $2 million more dollars from Trump or from Biden. During a workshop of Kerr County Commissioner's Court, Motorola representatives proposed a new system, including some needed radios, total of $5,298,888. This cost includes a 5-year maintenance plan, but doesn't include pricing for 152 portable radios identified as being needed, according to the presentation. The additional radios could be offered through a 2 to 3 year lease agreement at 0% interest, but no cost was provided.
Seems steep. Of course, Motorola's bid was the only qualified bid. The next biggest...
They had her on those people are fucking lunatics, man. They're going to die being fucking insane people.
Chunk was a little over $1 million, which went towards emergency responder pay. Basically, every single member of the sheriff's department received a 10% pay increase.
10% pay increase to the sheriff's department.
Another $650,000 went towards assorted staffing needs, which included more sheriff department staff. And lastly, another $100,000 to a special temporary position for a person overseeing the Motorola project, one that ballooned by $2 million, totaling almost $9 million, but not a cent towards upgrading the flood warning system. But hey, at least a blue state didn't get it. I know some people are going to be mad at me for sharing this right now because it makes Kerr County look bad, but You don't get to politicize every single decision you make regarding the welfare of other humans and then claim that your own welfare is not political. When you're
We don't want to go into the blue states, guys.
The blame largely goes to
the Biden Marxist communist regime, blue states.
Kerr County officials.
I bet she does. She probably talked to 2 or 3 generals.
To be clear, but at some point we do have to start.
Kathy H. tries to tell people that she's in command of military-like assets. And that on January 6th, when the Capitol was breached, they contacted her and said, is this go time? Are we going in? Should we go get Pelosi? And she had to stand them down. This isn't it. This isn't it. We'll have our time. Not right now. She also tried to put herself in charge of some sailboat rescue one time during a hurricane. That woman's wild. Kathy H. is insane.
Your own.
I don't think she's crazy, honestly. I think she lies for friends. No one wants to talk to her normally until she comes up with this crazy fucking, and then they talk to her and they want to be her friend.
Welfare is not political when your choices begin to affect you. Of course, the blame largely goes to Kerr County officials, just to be clear, but at some point we do have to start talking about this.
Insane. It's almost like they could have used that money for something beneficial or, whatever. Little tariff skit action.
Howdy, boys. There's a new tariff in town. 20% tariffs on all foreign goods. I changed my mind. We're going to do a 30-day pause on those tariffs. You know what? No. Actually, 20% on Mexico and Canada, 30% on any part that speaks French, 9% on El Salvador, 15% on Burma, 80% on the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Taiwan, 900%, Trinidad and Tobago, 40%, 30% on the Vatican. Wow, the stock market really nosedived there. So, we're going to do a 60-day pause, let everybody wrap their head around the situation, let the market readjust, okay? You know what? No, I was right the first time. We're going to double down on this. Double the tariffs. 150% on China, 50% on Europe, just all of Europe. How come we don't make tiny plastic hats here anymore? 80% on Vietnam. I'm exempting companies I like and I'm selling a meme coin. Something about fentanyl. Can you put tariffs on movies? You building factories yet? You should be building factories. Great news. We struck a deal with the United Kingdom. It was 10%, now it's 5 plus 5. Yes, winning. I just talked to the nicest Chinese man. We're going to pause things for a week. Nope, he was Japanese. We're
They are confusing. Ask Suko.
Myanmar and Myanmar, 50%. 300%
Myanmar and Myanmar.
on Australia and 500% on all marsupials or other pervert mammals. Boogity boogity boo! 13,000% on Greenland until they succumb. Woo! I've worked up quite the thirst solving all those problems I precipitated. Barkeep, one whiskey. $500. Oh! 80% tariffs on the consequences of my own actions.
Pretty good. Pretty good skit. That's from Reason Magazine. Very good, honestly. New podcast on my radar.
And she got up there and she said, there ain't going to be no amnesty. Nope. Now, people have been getting mad about this. They said, oh, Trump, you can't give no amnesties. Some rich farmers got in Trump's ear and said, who's going to pick all this shit? We're rich. Help us. And Trump said, oh, okay, yeah, well, we won't get rid of them.
Yeah, we'll let you take ownership. His words. We'll let you take ownership of all of the undocumented people that work your land. and you be responsible for them. So I think that's pretty much, ownership of people that work your property, I believe, is slavery, if I remember correctly.
It ain't amnesty.
Basically.
That's for sure.
No, hell
It
no.
is not amnesty. Slavery ain't amnesty.
Nope.
They're so scared to say the word amnesty because they're making fun of it, right? They're taking a piss. But it is, they're so scared to say the word amnesty. Instead, they're like, we're going to give the farmers ownership over the farm workers.
Property, I believe, is slavery, if I remember correctly.
It ain't amnesty.
No,
that's for sure.
No, hell
It
no.
is not amnesty.
it ain't.
Slavery ain't amnesty.
Nope. Two different things.
Two different things. And she's up there, but some people don't even want them in the country. Some people are so racist that if you turn brown people into slaves, there's still going to be too many of them.
Yeah.
Some people can't even handle, like, you don't need that many. They get mad. So those people are going to say, yeah, Trump caved. He caved on the amnesty issue. So this woman has to go out there, the farming secretary.
This is Jackie and Dunlap. So they're super Southern. They're playing a character as well. And they talk about political issues.
Job is to say no amnesty, that mass deportation. We don't want to harm the food supply, so we're going to do it in a careful way, but no amnesty. So basically, it's just, slavery. No amnesty, mass deportation. We got to keep a few basic.
How did he think saying that farmers would have ownership over the people that work their fields was going to sound?
Slaves. You don't work for ICE?
I do not.
I've been telling everybody you got a job.
I've been telling everybody you got a job at ICE.
It's always the simplest reason. They don't want to get their ass beat by Marine sons.
Now, this is what I don't understand.
Marine sons, the sons that are escorting their mom to our hearings.
Now, this is what I don't understand. Who likes this sort of thing? Unless you just in the bottom of your heart, racist, hateful of brown people, who the hell wants these ICE people?
I feel like even if I was like flustered and like freaking out and somebody was really like had a bright light in my face interrogating me, when the words come out of my mouth that like, no, what's happening is you will own the farm worker. When I thought about that in my head, I would just stop, even if it's mid-sentence. The farmers will own. Nope, that's not going to work. Can't go that way. Got to fucking go a different route. I can't say the farmers own the farm workers. I can't let that come out of my mouth. Not with Trump, dude. Got a tractor? You own it. Got 300 brown people? You own them.
Beating the hell out of 60-year-old men. For not wearing all this big tactical people. Who the hell wants these ICE people beating the hell out of 60-year-old men? For not wearing all this big tactical gear and the helmets and everything else. Oh, we're going to get us some dishwashers today. Oh, look, these people are picking fish. Let's go get them. We're going to get them. We're tough. We're real tough. I tell you what, these cowardly, miserable, yellow-bellied, face-covered cowards, if they ever come across a real hard criminal, they would shit themselves to death. Literally, they would. Pitiful cowards.
I like this podcast.
Isn't it illegal to hire undocumented people? I believe that is illegal as well. I haven't seen them ICE jerking any of these people that own the farms and putting them in the van with the people that work on it.
That video you shared does not look real. It looks like the time that he showed the Declaration of Independence to Laura Ingraham.
If they breaking the law too.
Everybody's like, they're illegals. They're here illegally. Yeah. They broke the law.
All the law, yes.
I can shove them in as many car trunks as I want. But no farm owners are getting shoved in car trunks.
No restaurant owners, no hotels, all these places that Trump's trying to protect poultry factories, hotels, and farms.
No big chicken men.
I heard today he was suing California for egg prices.
Yeah.
Ain't getting no arrested.
Nope.
No big chicken men ain't getting no arrested.
Nope.
You can mark it.
I've told people in Discord this. It depends on how brown they are. So there is a Asian restaurant in a town near me, and the people that own it are immigrants, right? But they're both citizens now. Okay, both of them are U.S. citizens now. They hired some illegals apparently to work in their kitchen, and they're being charged with like 8 felonies apiece. Other people, right? The big wigs and the hotels and the restaurants, they're looking the other way. Kid Rock, his restaurant in Nashville had a bunch of immigrants pulled out of it. You don't see him being arrested, right?
Get down, folks. It's funny how illegal means you can do whatever you want to them only applies to certain kinds of people.
Certain kinds of people, yeah. Not everybody. Yeah.
Not everybody, no.
Isn't it?
Do you guys think that the J6ers have trouble finding work? This is Jackie and Dunlap. And A-N-D Dunlap. This guy's Jackie, this guy's Dunlap. It's I don't know. They come across some really funny stuff sometimes. And put it on their podcast. I have not watched a full episode. I watch their clips like crazy. They always pop up, and I watch them. Here you go.
So tonight I want to start off by showing you a couple clips. Let's watch them. That's outside the Capitol, yes, on January 6th, where you can hear someone yelling, "Kill him, kill him, kill him." Let's take another view from a different perspective. That's right, in those clips you can hear someone yelling, "Kill him, kill him, kill him." That
you're probably right.
Voice you hear is this man. That's Jared Weiss breaking into the Capitol after that scene you saw.
That's why ARPA was in there, and I didn't know what it was when I said AARP. ARPA is the American Rescue Plan Act. You're probably right.
Outside. Now let me delve a little bit into what happens before he breaks into the Capitol. What's happening in that crowd scene you saw at the top. This is what's happening. So Jared Weiss is at the Capitol. He is
screaming outside the Capitol on video, confirmed, to kill the other police officers. Fucking kill them. Kill them, kill them, kill them.
Telling law enforcement officers there that they are the Gestapo, they're Nazis, shame on them, he says, shame on them. And he explains that he is actually part of law enforcement or was part of law enforcement. And then when the crowd starts...
How can Trump be suing California for egg prices being too high when he said he already fixed the egg prices? He's claiming that AB 1437, Proposition 2, Proposition 12, that basically has like humane eggs for California, is raising the price across the United States. But Prop 2 was a referendum, right? It was a ballot vote, right? And it passed. AB 1437 regulates egg quality for human consumption. Prop 2 mandates for farm animals such as egg-laying hens that they have a certain amount of well-being, right? That they're kept correctly, that they're not tortured, that type of shit. I don't know. It's crazy.
It's attacking those police officers. He says, he yells out, "Yeah, fuck him. Yeah, kill him." And then, as you heard in that video, he repeats, "Kill him, kill him, kill him."
Now, why are we worried about this random J6er? Why are we worried about this random J6er that is yelling, kill them, kill them, kill them, at police at the Capitol on January 6th? Because Trump just appointed him to the Justice Department.
Directing violence against these law enforcement officers outside the Capitol. That is Jared Wise. Now, why should you care about this one particular rioter outside the Capitol? Because Jared Wise is now one of the new high-ranking hires at Donald Trump's Justice Department. That's right, that guy egging on violence against police officers, telling rioters to kill cops, has just been appointed to the
Justice Department. Mandate cage-free housing for egg production for commercial sale in California effective January 1st, 2024. This means that hens must have enough space to lie down, stand up, fully extend their limbs, and turn around freely. They need a minimum of 1 square foot of usable floor space per hen in multi-tiered slatted systems. 1.5 square feet in single-level all-litter floor systems.
Justice Department by Donald Trump. He has been appointed to the Weaponization Working Group headed by Ed Martin. Now, you'll remember Ed Martin. We've talked quite a bit about Ed Martin here. Ed Martin was a lawyer representing a bunch of these January 6th defendants.
That's no space, right? Most people that own chickens, they let them out, run around, or whatever. They just have they have to have enough room to turn around. That's it. Because I don't know if you've seen regular egg production, but all they can do is they can't move. They eat and shit out eggs. The eggs fall on the conveyor belt. Their shit falls down through the holes. That's it.
Ed Martin was nominated to be D.C. U.S. Attorney because of all of the terrible...
They are not. California's laws are not driving nationwide egg prices, or they would have done this way before the big avian flu outbreak that happened, right? And the inflation that happened, right?
Stuff that came out about Ed Martin, his nomination was sunk, so he was appointed instead to head...
I'm not saying it doesn't raise it a few pennies here and there, and we're all kind of shouldering the rules, which I'm fine with, or the burden, which I'm fine with. It didn't make them go from $1 something a dozen to $7 or something. It just didn't.
So-called Weaponization Working Group, which is, ironically, or maybe not ironically, designed to weaponize the Justice Department. So Jared Wise, this January 6th insurrectionist yelling, kill him, to rioters directed at the police, is now a part of the Trump Justice Department. Now, what happened with the case against Jared Wise? Jared Wise was indicted on 2 felony and 4 misdemeanor counts as part of his activities on January 6th. And that case was being tried, and it went to the jury on Friday. And before that jury could deliberate, on Monday, Donald Trump pardoned Jared Wise.
Approximately $1,500 for a pardon.
So he's not a convicted criminal. The case never actually got to go to conviction because of...
He was literally about to go to court on it when he was pardoned.
Donald Trump, but he is now a high-ranking person in the Justice Department. So he's going to be working with Ed Martin to weaponize that department as part of this broader effort, not just to go after people who held others accountable for January 6th, but to go after all of the president's perceived enemies. With respect to their efforts to rewrite history, they have purged the FBI. You'll remember that Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, among their first acts amid the top echelons of the FBI, was to fire a bunch of the top managers of the FBI who had anything to do with prosecutions of January 6th defendants. There was then an effort to gather all the names of people that participated in those prosecutions, even if they were simply assigned those responsibilities and conducting them, and conducting those cases to conviction, as the vast, vast majority of those defendants were convicted. But you have the purge going on, continuing to go on at the FBI. You have a lot of FBI agents who are now leaving with their feet, voting with their feet. by getting out, hundreds and hundreds of them taking early retirement because of morale problems at the FBI. And you have the fact that people...
Imagine being a J6er calling for the death of cops outside the Capitol and then being a... What the fuck? Being appointed to the Justice Department. What the fuck?
People are being pulled off of assignments working on serious criminal investigations to work on the president's political priorities, which mean going after his perceived enemies.
The California bishop is now recommending that they're not going to do mass. You're not required to come to mass because the ICE has been so prevalent in showing up at their churches.
Dismissing valid corruption cases like the one against the mayor of New York. De-emphasizing white-collar and corporate crime, as one of the top Justice Department people under Trump said, that white-collar prosecutions are bad for business. Well, no, they're just bad for corrupt business. But these are the changing priorities of the Justice Department under Donald Trump. The immigration raids, that is all of these indiscriminate raids, 2 that are going after people with no criminal record. 9 out of 10 of the people they're arresting in these indiscriminate raids have no criminal record, except for coming into the country undocumented. But they're being pulled away from child trafficking cases. They're being pulled away from drug cases. They're being pulled away from border security. They're being pulled away from all kinds of other criminal offenses and true national security threats. And they don't want to talk about the fact that they're pulling agents off of serious crime cases to go after farm workers and grocery workers and others in their Trumpian MAGA priorities. Look at these 2 law enforcement agents I questioned during a Judiciary Committee hearing and how hard they struggle to avoid answering a question about the diversion of resources away from serious crimes and to immigration enforcement under the Trump administration.
How much of your workforce is being diverted to immigration enforcement and away from things that they were doing previously?
Well, specifically immigration enforcement only, that's not what we're focused on. It's just not, sir.
Okay, so how many of the 200 agents have worked in immigration enforcement?
At any given time, anybody could.
No, just overall. Have all 200 been called away at some point to work on immigration enforcement?
No, sir.
Okay, so how many have?
I really would have a hard time giving you an answer on that, sir.
You're running the office.
I am, yes.
And you're having to make decisions about allocating resources.
Yes, sir.
And you've got investigations to pursue that were ongoing at the time of the administration. And you're having to take agents off of one thing to put them on another. I know how strapped the resources were even before this administration. Yeah. So you may not want to be precise here, but we need some sense of what kind of resources are being diverted here. Mr. Perez, are the estimates accurate that 45% of agents in major cities are being called on to work on immigration now? Is that accurate?
No, sir, I would say that's not entirely accurate. I think that maybe comes from some data that looked at...
So what is the accurate percentage?
So nationally, sir, I don't have an exact percentage. I would say it's probably, it ebbs and flows.
In addition to the appointment of people like Jared Wise, who would have been content with police being killed on January 6th, you also have the appointment of other Trump sycophants, like this guy. That's Thomas Fugate. Thomas Fugate is a 22-year-old former Trump campaign advance person with no national experience, who is now
he mowed yards and shit.
Department of Homeland Security responsible for trying to combat terrorism. That's right, we've got a 22-year-old intern in a position.
He's a bootlicker for sure.
Responsibility combating terrorism. At the
God, I want to show you a couple more things before I leave. I got to go. I got an appointment tomorrow. I got to keep. How can people be okay with this?
They took your mom?
Children protesters running from tear gas during immigration raids. Kids running from tear gas crying on the phone because their mother was just taken from the fields. How insane. Also, I would like to point out that when people started talking about, well, Trump is, cutting the weather service, even if this river issue in Texas wasn't directly caused by that, it still goes to show how important these weather services are, right? NOAA and the National Weather Service and people and working and being staffed, and we shouldn't have cut that. We shouldn't have cut the satellite funding. We shouldn't have done that. Like, that's silly. And then MAGA saying, I can't believe you'd politicize this. I can't believe you'd politicize this. I can't believe you'd make it political. Governor Hot Wheels has decided in the wake of the flood, he wants to call a special session of their state legislature to talk about redistricting, which is how they draw the districts in the funniest ways so they can make their candidates win. Why the fuck would they need a special session in the wake of the flood to redistrict the voting district in Texas? What does that have to do with the flood? Why is he using this to piggyback on top of that? What the fuck?
With good breaking news, the Texas legislature will address the Hill Country flooding in a special session.
I am politics reporter Jack Fink joining us now. Jack, this is going to be a busy month for lawmakers.
Well, Ken and Karen, this is an expanded agenda by Governor Abbott for the special session. And so, yeah, this is going to be very busy down at the Texas Capitol once the special session starts July 21st, which is in less than 2 weeks. And what stands out among the now 18 items on the list of bills Governor Greg Abbott wants lawmakers to address is not just those that deal with the devastation and the deadly floods in central Texas, but also raw politics. So let's start with what state leaders have said and what lawmakers have told me personally are the top priorities. Bills involving the aftermath of the disaster. The governor wants lawmakers to approve bills to improve early flood warning systems and flood emergency communications, including the infrastructure in flood-prone areas. A bill that could have provided some of that after September 1st did not pass during the regular session. The governor is also requesting relief funding for the response to the disaster and recovery from it. Remember, he said yesterday that the state is in it for the long haul to help the impacted areas of central Texas rebuild. Other legislation he wants would streamline rules and regulations for natural disaster preparation and recovery, basically eliminating barriers to speed up efforts when disaster hits a part of the state. And Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick has said he wants outdoor warning sirens to be put in place around the Guadalupe River where disaster struck in Kerr County by next summer.
And Jack, I know there are also other issues that are going to be addressed outside of the flooding, right?
Yeah, the raw politics. So we're talking about hot button topics, including redistricting, which will require Texas lawmakers to redraw the state's congressional districts before next year's 2026 midterm elections to help Republicans pick up seats in Texas, perhaps as many as 3, maybe up to 5. That's obviously going to be quite controversial, especially after what we've seen in Tarrant County with efforts to redraw the county commissioner line.
Wouldn't politicize it much, would you?
Tilt toward Republicans.
And now I want to talk about this MAGA win here. Jennifer actually tied me in this. This is pretty funny. All right. So Gunther Eagleman, who is a bootlicker, like the top bootlicker in the world, says EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin says he will release everything we know about geoengineering and cloud seeding. I thought the whole thing was a conspiracy. First of all, it's not a conspiracy, right? Out near the Rockies or in Colorado, they send up clouds when it's incredibly foggy. They send up a cloud seeding plane to make it rain to pull the fog down so at the airport they can land the planes. It's not all conspiracy, right? It does exist. It's not happening the way you guys claim that all these commercial jets are just spraying random chemicals. Like there's permits for it. There's a way to go about it. It's not as effective as they hoped it would be originally, but they can do it. There's a lot of things they do. But let's see this speech real quick before I go.
Concerned Americans have urgent and important questions about geoengineering and contrails. The American public deserves and expects honesty and transparency from their government when seeking answers. But for years, people who ask questions in good faith were dismissed, vilified by the media and their own government. That era is over. The Trump EPA is committed to total transparency. As a result, I tasked my team at EPA to compile a list of everything we know about contrails and geoengineering
and put it out there,
releasing it to you now publicly. In other words, I want you to know everything I know about these topics and without any exception. Instead of simply dismissing these questions and concerns as baseless conspiracies, we're meeting them head on. We did the legwork, looked at the science, consulted agency experts, and pulled in relevant outside information to put these online resources together. Everything we know about contrails to solar geoengineering will be in there. That means anyone who reads through this information will know as much about these topics as I do as EPA administrator. To anyone who's ever looked up to the streaks in the sky and asked, what the heck is going on? Or seen headlines about private actors and even governments looking to blot out the sun in the name of stopping global warming, we've endeavored to answer all of your questions at the links on your screen. In fact, EPA shares many of the same concerns when it comes to potential threats to human health and the environment, especially from solar geoengineering activities. The enthusiasm for experiments that would pump pollutants.
This sounds like a big win for conspiracy theorists, doesn't it?
Has set off alarm bells here at the Trump EPA. Prior to now, EPA has never been this proactive to raise awareness about concerns with geoengineering and to stop this activity from being scaled up. This is what it looks like when government actually listens to the will of the people and doesn't try to squash it. You can always trust this administration and this EPA to take your concerns seriously, answer your questions honestly,
thank God,
and carry out the will of voters with integrity.
They're going to reveal what they've been doing to us. Let's see what they actually revealed. The high-frequency active auroral research program, HARP, is a high-power, high-frequency transmitter used to study the ionosphere. That's where they control it from. The program was managed by the U.S. Air Force and U.S. Navy between 1990 and 2014, but responsibility for HARP facilities and equipment was handed over to the University of Alaska Fairbanks in 2015. HARP has been the center of numerous conspiracy theories over the years. EPA is not aware of any scientific evidence that supports any claim that any nefarious activities are taking place. What? HARP is not a classified program, and its environmental impact study can be viewed by the public. What? The FCC, FAA, and Alaska Department of Environmental Conservation are three major permitting and licensing organizations with jurisdiction over HARP research. God damn it! Surely they got something about these chemtrails, though. Chemtrails is a shortening of the term chemical trails. It is a term some people use to inaccurately claim that contrails resulting from routine air traffic are actually an intentional release of dangerous chemicals or biological agents at high altitudes for a variety of nefarious purposes, including population control, mind control, or attempts to geoengineer Earth and modify its weather. God damn it, dude. Lee Zeldin, I'm beginning to think you're a shield, too. Put him on the Cash Patel list. It should be noted that chemicals are sometimes intentionally sprayed from aircraft for legitimate purposes like firefighting or farming, but these are well-documented occurrences, regulated, and used for specific legitimate purposes. Releases of this type are from low-flying propeller aircraft, not high-altitude jets. For more information, see the next section below. God damn it. Why are they... even his video kind of leaves it like open. Like he could have said, oh, this is nonsense, but I'm still going to share the information with you. But no, he's like, you guys are going to get what I know. You're going to know. Then you actually go read the document, and it's like, oh, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit, and it always has been. So there you go. And the last thing I want to show you is, you guys remember when I joined a targeted individuals group and convinced them that my wife may be a CIA plant and was having these in-depth conversations with the guy who ran the group? You had to be here a long time ago to remember this, okay? I convinced them that I was being gang stalked by woodland creatures around my home, and that my wife was my contact person, right? She was an agent. She'd been flipped, and she was controlling it all from inside the house. Now, that group is heating up, okay? I just saw a post the other day. I didn't save the exact post. This guy thinks he's getting hit with satellite frequencies for this little meter he bought off Amazon. Don't tell him he's standing next to a running microwave. You know, that doesn't have anything to do with it. Just forget that. If other TIs are contacting you, how do you know who to trust? How do you know they're not perps, targeted individuals, TIs, perps, the people who gang stalk you? What are the obvious and not so obvious signs? Good health leading to good manners. No, there was some good ones in here. No matter how much deep, well-managed, calculated war a computer does, human is more advanced than them. As long as human lives on Earth, new things will happen. Have computer been able to do evolution till present time? Any formula invented, will it be able of invention and earn money? So your target is to keep going, avoid, and grow. Still, they are outside. Give them a cigarette to buy you time and pay their attention addiction and give them what they deserve. Squeeze of Python and take the energy and live. Lunatics, dude. The basic programming used for false flag terrorism flow chart. Confuse, terrorize, torture, scare, psychoanalyze, personality interrogation, memory retrieval. I don't know, whatever the fuck that is. The targeting makes me angry that nobody will help us. There was some really good ones in here. I'm going to post this in parts. I only hope that these posts reach someone who's able to think about what I'm saying, hopefully compare it to their own circumstances. I'm sending in parts because if there are any similarities between my posts and your personal experience, I would really like you to start drawing your own conclusions as the implications. You can't physically feel radio waves with any recognizable sensation aside from the heat on the surface of your skin. If you feel powerful vibrations, tingling, and any sensation that feels like numbness or tingling, particularly in your bladder, hand, or head, those aren't radio waves or microwaves. That is particularly obvious in bed and first thing in the morning. It's actually electrical current you're feeling, sometimes wired, sometimes wireless. I'm just saying. I pulled my car over to the side of the road because I thought a cat or some animal had climbed up. Oh, this one's crazy. This guy starts taking his car apart. Anyways, listen. I pulled my car over to the side of the road because I thought a cat or some animal. So these people believe that the government is stalking them all the time. The police are in on it. Everybody that they run into their life are all undercover agents. They're trying to drive them crazy. They're trying to make them misremember. They're planting stuff on them. They're using mind control and sending voices in their head. They believe all kinds of crazy shit. Okay, and they're the only sane ones. Because I believe the cat or some animal had climbed up somewhere under my car. I pulled off the plastic panel that covers up the center console near the shift lever and the front armrest. I was shocked to find a person cramped up on the inside of my car wearing a weird textured all black suit and what appeared to be VR goggles. He pulled the plastic from an area about this big in your car. He pulled the plastic off of it, and there was a guy in there in a studded leather suit wearing VR goggles. I know these people are crazy, and it sucks for them. Hope they get help. But this is some of the greatest reading I have ever seen in my life. There is no way I won't read this and share this. I hope you find help, right? I hope you get treatment. I hope your schizophrenia flare-up goes away, whatever. But holy fuck, he's in a studded leather suit in your center console, and he's got on VR goggles. The fuck was he doing in there? Now listen, I immediately started aggressively ripping plastic panels out of my armrest as the shady character retreated backwards into the car away from the center console. And soon popped out from under the rear passenger side and ran off. This guy has a tunnel in this man's car. He popped out from behind the back tire, from the tailpipe or something. I don't know. Imagine you could actually open the center console and see a person. And then when you see them and make eye contact with, well, they're wearing VR goggles. You make VR contact with them. They start backing out and they pop out the tailpipe and run away. And he ran off frantically. The auto shop found alterations that allowed up to 2 people to hide between the body and frame of the car with a passage from underneath to inside of my back seat. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They found mechanical alterations to my vehicle that allowed someone to control my steering, braking, and acceleration. They were real, hacked software changes to the default electronic settings and capabilities of the vehicle. There was a custom switch that disconnected the brakes from the brake lights. Now that is scary, right? The police wouldn't do anything about this. Not even take a report for vandalism because they stated the damages to my car were fully reversible and that I did them. WTF. Based on this finding and some other strange occurrences at my home, I checked and found one of these ninja-looking characters inside the mattress of my bed. Another black-studded VR goggle ninja is in the mattress, in there with the feathers or whatever's in there. The goose feathers. I don't know. That sounds like a mattress from the 1800s. The polyfill. Imagine laying on another human and having no idea. Well, that's just got a lump in it and then it just moves for you. Sorry. This time, I got the dude in his fancy gaming goggles on video inside my mattress. Found where they had tunneled 3 linear feet under my house and came up inside of my interior wall near my bed. They crawled through the wall, cutting the 2x4s near the very bottom of the wall frame. Cut the sheetrock part of the wall under the headboard of my bed and slid into the mattress and box springs and had cut wood inside to fit a large canvas inflatable airbag that this individual was able to crawl inside of while minimally disturbing me. This time, the individual got back inside a wall and he just cuts off. Why? That's all I want to know. That's the only question I would ask. I don't comment in here because I know I'll get banned. Why? What do they gain from sleeping underneath you, bro? What are they doing? What benefit when they double-decker sleep underneath you? Kenneth says, those black suits are dry suits with haptic sensors and feedback vibrations, pressure and heat. The VR goggles are for doing their VR live thing. It lets them feel stuff happening to your body. They can also make you feel stuff they either do to themselves or to the avatar or representation of you in the VR ultra-realistic 3D rendered environments. It's why they do the temporal hijacking thing to augment your dreams. They put me in a program called End Better constantly. Have any of you heard them talk about it? They do some messed up stuff in that VR programs. They practically live in it. It merges a construct they stay jacked into with your real life. They use us like players in the games. I know it sounds fucking crazy, but I've been dealing with this part of what they do nonstop for 10 years. I started falling asleep, but then waking up completely awake, but in a construct. I know how insane this sounds, but they will do anything to stay jacked into it. They claim that they're in these suits driving your body around. Like if you were playing a video game character, but it's you. They're driving you around like a car, like a rental. That seems like a really convenient way that they can do really fucked up shit and say, hey, they stole my body. Then they steal everything you ever inherited or worked for. They kill families and put pictures of themselves. This group are about done wiping out all the Albrechts and taking their identities. They use Albrecht for their names. They are trying to drive fear and scare you because they are evil. That makes sense, honestly. Amy and John DuPont, my old roofers, have those machines to orchestrate that with Scientology. That is the Thetans with Scientology. They are doing that to my house too. They just sold my insurance payment. Dude, stop, crackhead. You're not discrediting anyone anymore because of all the real victims know how it's done and hopefully have made reports to the FCC about their child porn radio station that they play in my head. Are you sick? This guy just called out another guy and said, "You idiot. They're not in your car and in your mattress. We're the real people suffering with the child porn radio station that they beam into my head." So stop with your bullshit, okay? We know what's really going on here. Tell me this isn't the greatest Facebook group in the world. This and that one where those people jack off to you trying to start your car, but it doesn't want to start. What was that? Pedal pumpers? Remember I joined that group and they was just people beating their dick to like women trying to start an old car. I should not join. I shouldn't join Facebook groups. If you haven't been here for a long time, I would do shows on like the weirdest thing I found on Facebook, and I was on foot fetishes, and then I got into something called pedal pumpers, and it is men who like to watch videos, no nudity. Sometimes they don't want your shoes on, and they want you to wear different shoes or high heels in an old carbureted car. And when you used to start old cars, you would have to like pump the gas pedal, right? And they want you to, they don't want the car to start. That'll ruin it. And then it won't ever be able to come, okay? They want you to just crank the car and keep pumping the gas. And they just beat their dick to it. That's it. They just beat their dick to sometimes men, but mostly women, trying to start a car and failing. Whatever floats your goat, I guess. I don't know. It's a child porn radio station. The child porn radio station, they beam directly into my head. We'll have to do a whole show on this. You guys want to do a Patreon show? I haven't read a bunch of these posts in a long time. You guys want to do a Patreon show on it, maybe? It doesn't really fit in with our normal content. Maybe I should make some TikTok videos on this shit. I'm going to try to see if I can tune in that child porn radio station. Wait, is it like audio theater? You remember on the AM channels when they used to have like shows that were basically like storytelling and they had different voice actors? Is it like, how do you do audio only child porn? All right, guys, I got to go. I got an appointment tomorrow to meet with that grant place about working and potentially getting paid. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Support the stream while we're offline. We greatly appreciate that, especially this month and potentially next month. Hopefully it's figured out by then. But thank you guys. I appreciate it. We'll see you about the next one. Have a good night. Let me know if you want a Patreon show about the targeted individuals, and we'll see you about the next one. Have a good night. Love you. See you. Bye.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the fork and balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the fork and balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott.
Here we go. I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believer? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like Thor in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, beating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was...
That's right.
I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped them to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Whoa, wait. Stop. What? I'll get my files. Wait, what are you doing? Stop. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously. My mom's an alcoholic. Oh, give me a... Oh, my God. Damn it. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Round 3.
Good night, guys. Thank you all.
Say it isn't so. Got him backed up on the ropes, trying to
Tomorrow is the interview for the grant to where potentially I could work and get paid at the campground. We haven't made a paycheck since back in September. And then Tuesday is the informal interview for the VA stuff. Tuesday in the afternoon. Have a good night.
All this nonsense on my conscience, it's hard to sleep at night. Who the fuck is in my window with this time of the night? These parasites, these leeches, with all their secret meetings, teaching all you fucking cretins about baby-eating heathens. Believing in reasons with no meaning is bullshit. Will Bird motherfuckers out here busting the grifts. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them